Now, I've had time to think and reflect on the Marvel Avengers beta, and you guys are right. The game could be better, but I think this game is also a diamond in the rough, and perhaps caked with some dirt on it. But it's nothing that can't be fixed though. I've noticed that people have gone to great lengths to express their concerns about their characters, the environments, the mission variety, or lack thereof, reused assets, and the list goes on. But nobody seems to have played and understood how deep the gameplay actually is. This game doesn't tell you outright that there are roles to be fulfilled. I'm talking classic roles in RPGs, such as tank, support, DPS, and everywhere in between. But people that may have been looking for a more fulfilling single-player experience were expecting this game to be Insomniac's Spider-Man or Rocksteady's Batman series, or Arkham. In actuality, this is the true successor to Marvel's Ultimate Alliance that's trying to implement more of what it's learned from its contemporary looter counterparts such as Destiny. To best illustrate my point of there being a deeper system than what a lot of reviewers realize, I'll explain the mechanics of playing Hulk, the tank. By putting in a fuck ton of time playing Hulk, I was able to find out things about him that others could not do apparently. Before I get into it too much, let's cover some jargon that a lot of you may or may not know. First, aggro. That's getting the enemy's attention or focus. DPS, damage per second, or more easily, how much damage do you do in a short amount of time? Canceling, stopping an action or animation early. And lifesteal, health you receive from damage you do. Let's also cover a little bit of the system mechanics. The game has a stun meter located underneath the enemy health bars. Once it's filled, you have access to what's called a takedown, which functions very similarly to the one from Marvel's Spider-Man. Although you don't instantly kill the target, as that would be too powerful, you do get to apply significant damage on the target. But, more importantly, you are invincible, and the enemy cannot attack you or the other players. Now keep that in mind. Let's jump back to Hulk. Now, Hulk has 3 abilities in the beta that are available, and a rage meter to boot. First, Thunderclap. Every now and then Hulk becomes overwhelmed, as we all do sometimes. But he can use this move to knock back enemies. This is the most straightforward move he has, but it also means it can be applied to more situations. Number 2 is Rage. As Hulk does damage and takes a beating, he gains Rage, which is that meter located underneath his health bar. This meter can keep you in the fight by using it while you are doing damage. Not while you're getting your ass kicked, but doing damage. This is considered lifesteal. Remember that? But be careful though. The longer you hold it down, the more it drains, and it seems to drain while you are outside of combat as well. This fits the theme that Hulk is fueled by his rage, and how much he's dealing with at the time, so be prepared to always jump in a battle. That's the only way you'll get it back up. Number 3 is Bone Shaker, which you pound the ground a couple times and aggro nearby enemies, and that'll be okay, as long as you use your rage meter wisely, as while you're in Bone Shaker, your rage meter actually is bolstered. This is how you will keep the attention off of your puny teammates and on you instead. And finally, there's Gamma Rush. This move lets him charge at enemies, and if he makes contact with one, when it works, he will grab them and smash them into the ground, dealing massive damage and staggering enemies that are close to the impact. This move is very powerful, but not for the reason that you would think. When this move is used on an enemy that is about Hulk's size or larger, it instead registers as a takedown. Apply this to what we've learned about takedowns, and you now have a Hulk that can pin down a target and give the team time to focus on adds, regaining their health, or DPSing whoever you're beating down. So now we're going to focus a little bit more on that Gamma Rush and how it works, the benefits of its takedown, and how we're going to be able to do those things, be able to put our enemy in a state where we can take them down. Well, In order for you to take advantage of this combination, you'd first have to learn about the conditions that need to be met. 2 of them specifically. 1, the enemy has to have a full stun meter. And then 2, Gamma Rush has to be off cooldown. Now, how do we meet these conditions? 2 ways: gear and combos. Now, during my time playing the beta, I was able to procure a legendary item from the corpse of a guy who may or may not have been smashed to death. This item made my power attacks do 15% more stun. Power attacks are linked to the X button on PS4 and Y button on Xbox as I know it right now, and as it is defined here, so keep that in mind. I also had another piece of gear that stated I gain a burst to my heroic abilities. I don't like the way that this is worded, so I'll say it plainly: cooldowns will be shorter. So, Hulk also possesses a very strong combo that does a few things. This combo is Tectonic Fury. On the surface, it does low damage and just seems to, do cool Hulk stuff. But it breaks blocks in an area around Hulk, has medium stun damage, and bounces smaller enemies, preventing them from attacking you or teammates. You can access this move by holding the heavy button or the power button. These are our solutions to the 2 aforementioned conditions. So, let's roleplay a scenario. We're surrounded by enemies, and located in the center, closer to you, is particularly big baddie that you want to lock down. But we just used our Gamma Rush a little while back, and it's not quite ready to use. We'll say it's at about 75%. You use Bone Shaker first, and pull the enemy's attention to you, aggroing them, right? You might have taken a bit of damage before this confrontation, but you are the strongest there is. So you prepare to hold down your power button, remember that? And as soon as the enemies are about to strike you, you hold down your rage button as well, and proceed to flatten the earth around you. Your enemies start to bounce up and down like kids in a bounce house. Your body starts to visually emanate gamma radiation as you bring your health back up to full. But your enemies are resilient, and even though you're mashing the power button, beating the ground like an upset Karen, it's not enough. But that's when you remember that old sage told you that you can cancel the animation of your ground pound at any time by holding the heavy button in the middle of your Tectonic Fury, and it'll restart it. So you stretch your arms to the sky like you're raising up Simba to the savannas of Africa, and you once again bring your fist crashing to the earth again. 1, 2, 3 enemies are now lifeless, ragdolled. You also see that the boss is now staggered because of your rampage. In the middle of your Jolly Green Giant tantrum, you take your finger off the rage button since you're now at full health. But an enemy blasts you, blindsiding you, and you're now at 75% health again. You still got some rage left in the tank though, since you took your finger off rage early. And you don't want your Kamala player to waste their healing ability on you when there's so many other puny Avengers who need it more. Cough, cough, Iron Man. You get back to your feet, and in just enough time to see that the enemy is still staggered, the boss that is, from all the tremors you made earlier. He's still doubled over, reeling from the damage you inflicted. But now the enemy trembles in fear and frustration as they see you sprinting towards him. You then use your takedown on the enemy, dealing massive damage. And as you do this, you grin, because you know you are not finished with your onslaught. And even better, you gave your team the time they needed with your earlier display of power to take care of weaker enemies that were around. You still tell the Kamala player, this one's mine, as you use your Gamma Rush to perform another takedown, giving your team more time to reload and prepare to help you DPS this boss. But not before you use the last vestiges of your rage coupled with your Gamma Rush to regain health during that invincible beatdown. With everyone recharged and ready to go, you guys proceed to lay on the DPS and eventually destroy the boss. I hope this, coupled with the gameplay in the background, you were able to see more clearly or understand more clearly Hulk's role in this game. And this is just an example of one role being fulfilled in this game. And we're barely scratched the surface of what these characters can do. A lot of people are writing off this game right now, and I don't think they should. I don't think that's fair, because they're projecting their expectations of what they were thinking this game was going to be onto the developers, and that's not what these developers made. So I think that everybody should approach this game with a different mindset and a different perspective, and please try and approach it from the standpoint of someone that might have played Diablo, Borderlands, Destiny, just games like that where loot means a lot to how your character will actually play out. And even more so than those games, this game again has MMO RPG elements, or traditional RPG elements, where there are particular roles that need to be fulfilled in a team setting. Now, I had a lot of fun taking the time out to explain this stuff, and I love my time playing this game so far. So please let me know what your thoughts are on the beta down below. And if you like this video and you'd like to see more brief explanations, well, I don't know about brief, but if you'd like to see more explanations of other characters, please like and subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.